The Antarctic Weddell Sea, a cryospheric desert where structural steel fractures and human intervention ends at the frozen surface. Deployment Phase 0. The Sabertooth AUV undergoes severe thermal shock as it transitions into sub-zero, high salinity seawater. Slipping beneath the solid ice shelf, the uncrewed vessel commits to a high-risk subterranean descent, cutting physical surface telemetry. Surrounded by ancient volcanic basalt and a crushing overhead ice canopy, the vehicle enters an uncharted geological labyrinth. Internal telemetry anomaly. Micro-voltage fluctuations within the secondary electronics bay trigger the vehicle's automated emergency fault logic. The primary fiber optic micro-tether ruptures under intense current shear. The digital link to the surface vessel is permanently severed. Left entirely alone in the absolute dark, the Sabertooth AUV transitions from remote operations to unassisted AI survival. Automated mapping arrays project high-frequency acoustic meshes, profiling the hazardous geometry of the shifting ice ceiling. Squeezing through a volatile geographic bottleneck, the vehicle relies entirely on pre-programmed kinematic pathing. Proximity sensors trigger. The drone faces a crystalline brinnacle, discharging supercooled, hypersaline water into the column. Thruster arrays spike to maximum RPM, generating localized cavitation vortexes to counteract a sudden hydrodynamic drift. Glacial walls compress under immense tidal stress, spilling micro shards into the path of the advancing craft. Telemetry lock lost. A severe thermal inversion layer scrambles the Doppler velocity log's critical positioning matrices. Volumetric searchlights slice the abyss, illuminating a ghostly anomaly. A 19th century polar vessel, perfectly preserved in ice. Optical imaging systems record the structural degradation of the historic hull, mapping historical anomalies into digital telemetry. Sub-zero thermal drain accelerates. Crystalline ice propagates across the titanium casing, exhausting the primary power reserves. Structural collapse detected. The automated autopilot recalculates an instant escape vector as the subglacial cavern disintegrates. Recalculating dead reckoning matrices. Real-time laser scanning loops map the closing boundaries of the basalt rift. Crossing the halocline boundary, the violent mixing of fresh glacial meltwater and dense saltwater heavily distorts acoustic propagation. Vector thrusters actuate on their mechanical axes, spinning at high velocity to arrest a dangerous angular drift. Skimming centimeters above the abyssal floor, the lone vehicle transits an ancient volcanic trench, isolated from the world. At 500 meters, crushing hydrostatic pressure tests the material limits of the titanium seals, forcing structural deformation. Multi-beam transceivers emit continuous acoustic arrays, mapping a massive subglacial ice keel protruding into the vehicle's flight path. Propelling blindly through falling marine snow, the autonomous system scans the Royal Indigo Void for a faint, homing beacon. Trapped within a vertical ice chimney, the vertical thrusters fight intense fluid turbulence to maintain spatial orientation. A high-velocity subglacial meltwater jet strikes the hull, causing severe angular roll and threatening absolute loss of control. Downward-looking laser scaling suites sweep the seabed, mapping volcanic ridges to calculate a real-time path correction matrix. Navigating centimeters away from frozen scientific debris, the vehicle's propulsion array narrowly avoids a mission-ending mechanical entanglement. Thermodynamic exhaustion. Frazzle ice accumulation on the lateral cooling loops chokes the system's core heat dissipation path. Navigating a crystalline minefield, the vehicle sweeps across massive fields of anchor ice growing directly from the abyssal seabed, crushing tectonic force. Shifting glacial walls close inward, forcing the automated pathfinding array to execute real-time structural calculations. Inertial instability. Localized electromagnetic anomalies distort the internal optical laser paths of the ring laser gyroscope array, entering the thermal matrix. Superheated, mineral-rich hydrothermal plumes collide with freezing seawater, generating violent index refractions, actuating the robotic payload. The carbon fiber manipulator arm clears localized Frazel ice jams within the high-torque lateral thruster ducts. Acoustic shockwave propagation. The forward sonar mesh visualizes intense fluid displacement as a colossal glacial buoyancy correction initiated. Compressed nitrogen gas vents violently into the water column to arrest a dangerous downward velocity vector. At 600 meters, the vehicle's syntactic foam matrix suffers severe hydrostatic deformation, opening microscopic structural fissures to the brine. Traversing an unstable subglacial ridge, the tracking system hits a sudden acoustic shadow zone, leaving the craft blind to impending obstacles. The brushless DC motor modulates output instantly, spinning up a high-velocity cavitation vortex sheet to force a violent yaw correction. Volumetric beams illuminate the colossal grounding line interface a massive subterranean amphitheater where the ice shelf meets continental bedrock. Brine channel drainage triggers an immediate electrical hazard, generating a localized static discharge across the core telemetry antenna base. Behind the sapphire crystal dome, dual-lens optical tracking rigs execute rapid spatial calculations, charting a final path through the dark. Battery capacity drops past the critical 18% threshold, forcing the automated system to shut down non-essential sensor suites. Squeezing through an ice-choked bottleneck, the titanium skid plate grinds violently against jagged, razor-sharp cryostructures. The synthetic aperture sonar array fires an intense acoustic pulse, mapping a potential exit pathway through the dense ice matrix. A critical malfunction in the primary internal cooling loop triggers immediate thermal throttling across the neural processing core. Strobe lights flicker against the deep indigo void as the craft slips into a vast, silent subglacial cavern. Powerful countercurrents slam into the vehicle's nose cone, pushing the digital control loop to its absolute operational limit. With telemetry entirely dead and energy reserves critically low, the Sabertooth initiates its final autonomous ascent sequence. Rising rapidly through the density gradient, the vehicle's hull experiences severe thermal expansion as seawater temperatures fluctuate. The upward-looking sonar array locks onto a structural anomaly, a narrow, unstable lead of open water, slicing the ice canopy. Emergency pyrotechnic ballasts detonate, venting the remaining high-pressure gas reserves to propel the craft through the surface slush layer. Breaching the surface. The primary communications mast extends instantly, flooding the sub-zero Antarctic air with encrypted GPS transponder frequencies. 2 kilometers away, the surface research vessel's directional radio array registers a faint digital heartbeat, confirming vehicle recovery. Secured back in the maintenance bay, the scarred titanium chassis stands as silent witness to the terrifying mechanical reality of the subshelf abyss.